Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's not going so well today, but anyway, I'll have it up here in just a second here. Welcome to the show. It's always crazy here. Let me bring it back up here. Tried to have the big intro again, but it didn't work. It's Tuesday. As I say, it's Tuesday, February 6, 2024, and really it's Monday in my book here because nothing went right here this morning. I had the freeze. I had when I rebooted, I had the system not seeing the hard drive type thing. It looks like I'm in for a Windows rebuild here soon, ladies and gents. But thanks for coming back to us during the show here. As usual, I've got my friend. If you didn't tune into the previous show and get cut out, my name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking, here in the digital media world, and I got my co-host Pedro Garcia in the house. Pedro, what's happening today?
Nothing. Things are good. Just enjoying it. I actually just got an email that I need to respond to, so I am going to put pause on this.
You take it, Pedro, and I'll take the show intro today. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for putting up with our technical glitch earlier. Happens every now and then because I try to do things a little bit too complicated here, but I really, as they say, I really enjoy it. Let's see what the great YouTubes have to say here. I got we got any comments here? Let's see if I all right, just nothing seems to be working today. I thought I got the comment machine fixed. Nope. Oh wait, hold on. Here we go. Oh, put up with me just a second, ladies and gentlemen. It can't always be the spectacular show, can it? But this is why on the first day of the week we don't have guests, because otherwise it would be doom for that. So I'm going to update the. I think the guest link will work now, and then we can all chat and make fun of me. Let's pick one here. Hello, Pedro. Look at that. Bada bing, bada boom, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. That's my technical deal of the day. Let's get some background music here because I am clearly boring as hell. Let's turn that way down. Let me know if that's too loud, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, thanks for coming back to us and joining us here. We got a good week for you today, other than my little snafu here. It's a continued program, and if any of you guys know why a video driver would freeze the screen, and then the background would go on, the audio, everything else is working okay for about a minute, and then the whole system just basically comes to a halt. Doesn't blue screen of death, just comes to a complete halt, like it's not even on. Yeah. And then when you reboot it, nothing good happens. You have to reboot it again. Anyway, I thought I was pretty good at this stuff, but then I used this new broadcast software starting about a year ago. And goes away for a while, and then they bring back, they update it, goes away. New update, still away. New update, still away. And then something comes back, and it does the same thing. And to me, it's indicative of somebody cut and pasting from an old code, and when they're writing their new video driver or interaction with the NVIDIA, I don't know. Anyway, this week we got Operation Phoenix in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Operation Phoenix is the spin-off of SafeMoon's community. Not spin-off of SafeMoon. Those guys off to the joint frauds. But their community, a bunch of YouTubers, Squid Grow Joe, DeFi Sean, and Mike the Cryptonaut, along with Rebel Matt, the dev, got together with a bunch of the community members, some of their old mods, their Reddit master of the Reddit guy, and trying to get the old SafeMoon community to come back on. And Project Phoenix is going to... Project Phoenix was the name that SafeMoon gave their big thing coming out that never actually got going. And so these guys come up with Operation Phoenix. And Operation Phoenix is something that... they're trying to redo what SafeMoon was doing, and they started out okay. They launched and they did a 70x in 2 days, and the what's that this website up here. CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko haven't put them on yet, so people are coming in saying, "Hey, you're not legit yet," so you're that type of stuff. But anyway, they're still only 60x or something like that, and they're looking to go for the 100 to 1000x that SafeMoon did, but also do all the things right away that SafeMoon took years to do. They already have a DEX up and running. If you go to operationphoenix.network, not .net, but .network, they have a swap up. If any of you guys remember the DEX from Novation, the failed Innovation, Rebel Matt is the dev on that, and brought over the smart contracts of that, but improved them significantly, I might add. But this time they're also on PancakeSwap, so you can buy them either on PancakeSwap or on their DEX. And if you buy them on their DEX, you get a little bit more coins because the fees are lower on their own DEX. So do that. And then on Thursday, we're also going to have another DYOR, but these guys are DYOR DEX. Another DEX, but this is a little different. If you recall, a few weeks ago, I had DYOR Exchange on, and they're building a new social media trading exchange where lots of user content and all this type of stuff. They are another group, also known as DYOR DEX, but they're doing they're wanting to bring a better user experience to the DEX tools type thing, where you actually have a real DEX, information like the DEX, which I call the current information. Basically, is the currency of crypto, but also not just for the users, but for projects to be able to update their information, provide good information, and manage their projects much easier than it does, and much less expensive than these other websites charge. Some of them just charge you to add your website, Telegram, all that type of stuff. And God knows if you want to update it, it's a pain in the ass. Let's see here. Let's see middle. Let me fix something here. Yeah, we got the CNBC going over here. Who do we got in the house? Let's go back and do the whole social media thing again today, ladies and gentlemen. Chuck, I won't hit the sound effects because I did that last time. Thanks very much. Pitmonk, welcome back from wherever in the hell in the world you were, in the middle of nowhere with no, what's the matter? You don't have the Starlink? Come on, man. Kaching, thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. Let's see. Damien, thanks for coming back and watching us. Really appreciate it. Appreciate it. Space Cat says, I'm back and I see you are too. Damien, great to see you. Good coin this morning. Good coining this morning? Boy, I look washed out here today. Give me a second here to fix myself. It is the first winter in a long time that I did not go on vacation. Basically, my parents live in Florida, and I usually head down there at some point. My mom and dad always have a to-do list for me to do, and go down there and I get a nice tan and I look good on these shows. Now I am butt white. Fortunately, I have broadcast studio stuff here that helps me out, and I can tweak that a little bit. God, I'm so used to having Pedro in my ear that when my natural pause to stop talking, where I know he's going to take over, he's not there. Anyway, Mako stop in the house. Thank you, Mako. We had a failed go at it before I got I'll just call it the blue screen of death, even though it wasn't. So we're back at it. Pedro's taking care of a little business. He'll be back with us again here in a minute. I was going over what's coming up this week. But one of the things Pedro and I have been talking about is the Federal Reserve. One of the big programs, and I'm not sure this is what Pedro wanted to talk about, but this is one of the ones I wanted to talk about. The Federal Reserve has been doing this program where it's basically all the big banks, they've guaranteed their money. They've guaranteed everything with the banks that you can come borrow as much money as you want. And not just the big banks, a bunch of smaller banks and other financial institutions that have been deemed critical and this type of stuff. Forget the name of the program, whatever it's called. But that's coming to an end this week. So, and you know what? When the government guarantees things for banks, what happens? Banks take big risks. They take big risks, and they might not be good big risks, right? Right. So when that program ends, that little safety net for banks is going to come to a halt, and we're going to see some other problems crop up. And hopefully, my sponsor here, Audit Chain, will be up and running with their new interface, so they'll be able to test some of these banks' reporting schemes and see if these banks are reporting correctly or not, and see where they've gotten in trouble. I might as well get this out of the way now. Not that I want to get it out of the way, but talk about it now. Patrick Camuso down here. It's still tax season here in the U.S. Got to file your taxes. Got to get your crypto taxes right. The IRS has all new software to monitor blockchains, and they've successfully subpoenaed Binance, Kraken, and I think Coinbase too, but don't quote me on that, even though I just said it. Who their users are. And when they query who their users are, they get the information of what DeFi wallets they sent to also. So the IRS has the link. If you sent from one of the major exchanges in the US to a DeFi wallet, just count on the IRS having that info. And you'll get, if you don't file that, yes, I own a DeFi wallet and own crypto, and declare something on your returns, you'll get this notice that Patrick Camuso here talks about on his last show from the IRS. Now, it's entirely possible you have an exchange account and you sent some money to a DeFi wallet to pay somebody for something, but that's, there's a checkbox. I don't own the DeFi wallet I sent to, this type of stuff. And so there's all kinds of things you need to watch out for. And if you're really confused by it, or if you get any letters from the IRS here in the US, obviously, or foreign nationals that have had permanent residence in the US, you still got a tax issue, get in touch with Patrick Camuso here. Patrick Camuso CPA down in the bottom here. It's really important, guys. And I don't want to see any of you guys get hooked up. I mean, nobody's going to jail over this unless there's fraud involved. But for sure that the fines will be a lot if you screw it up. That's for sure. Hold on, everybody, just a minute here. Let me... Pedro, if you got in the background, you had your calendar up on the screen share here, so let me know about that. Let's see what Damien says. I'll wait for it to come up. No worries. Glad to catch up again. Life gets in the way of our pennies, eh? Cheers for the welcome back, guys. Loving your compact and well-explained roundup for us enthusiasts of crypto world. Thank you very much, Damien. I forget, where do you come to us from? I have forgotten. And I've got a couple of new, this Operation Phoenix group, I've been monitoring the Telegram and talking into their Telegram. And I've caught a couple other people from Ottawa, Ontario here, where I am now. Strangely enough, I mean, this is a big world, right? Big world. Strangely enough, I got this guy that says, I said, I'm in Ottawa, Ontario. Split my time between Chicago. And he says, I'm in Ottawa. And I was like, that's good. If any of you guys know Peter Wake, the guy with the cat NFTs, he lives here in Ottawa too. But this guy says, I manage a Royal Oak bar out in Orleans, out in the east end of Ottawa here. And it's a bar, as you may suspect, it's a bar I used to hang out a lot when I used to work here a long time ago. And Mrs. Striking and I had just driven by the bar about 2 hours prior to that. And he's like, I was working. So hopefully he'll show up on stream here one of these days. So I got him to come over. And tomorrow, like I said, we're having the Operation Phoenix group on, so there should be a big group here chatting about it and blowing up the chats for it. Let me get my list of things to talk about today. Let's see. When you have technical difficulties, your list goes to hell. Anyway, before in the previous program, what we were talking about, we started out talking about BTC doing nothing. As you can see here, it's still 43,000 over my head here, and nothing going on, going sideways. The ETF market kind of died down. The grayscale stuff died down. Everything else died down, and so everyone's just sitting, going here, meh. Oh, hold on one second. Sorry, everybody, that was Mrs. Striking. She's got plans for me this afternoon to do a little bit more work, but we started late, so I'm spending the time with you guys. If anyone has any questions, things to talk about, we'll get right on it as soon as you bring it up. Pitmonk says... Pitmonk says, we were talking about accountants and lawyers in Zuno Space today. Let's start a list of these people for each country. I need to find one here in the UK. That's a good plan. Pitmonk, one of the things that's really important, you've probably heard me say it before, is you actually need somebody, you need an accountant. The lawyers are different. You have different issues with lawyers, but some people may still need crypto lawyers. But for sure, accountants, they have to be able to read blockchain. There's lots of accountants, especially in the big four, or even guys that run their own firms, and they're like, yeah, just provide me the documentation. I'm an accountant, I'm chartered, I'm a CPA, whatever. I can do it. And they can, and they get it wrong. And I know that, not because I'm a wizard at it, because Patrick says a lot of his casework and client work is fixing other accountants' messes in it. And that's not any bash on accountants. That's just saying when something's new, people, it requires a lot of continuing education. It requires all sorts of things, and most accountants that have not been in crypto, so they take time to, or they don't take time to learn the nuances of it, and they just read the print out from your wallet and say, okay, up 1,000, down 500, so you made a $500 gain. What they don't do is adjust your cost basis for reflections, or perhaps you have a rebasing token, perhaps you bought and sold liquidity, these types of things. All these other things you got to figure out to get right, and be sure the IRS is, for us chumbalones that just invest pennies here and there, they're not messing around. But the guys that are whales, they got to get that shit right. That's for sure. But having a list of actual crypto people around the world. I gotta tell you, look on LinkedIn for crypto CFOs. I had a guy on the show, Taylor Zork. That's an odd name, but Zork. Taylor is a CFO based out of He is a CPA based out of Massachusetts, and he runs a group, Crypto CFOs, and it's all chief financial officers and other crypto accountant type people. They have a group in which they talk about it. They're not all from the U.S. They're from various other places. Probably a good place to start. In fact, I'll reach out to them and to maybe have them back on the show again to talk about different parts of the world and that type of stuff. But it's a great idea because, as we know, the blockchain gets less and less anonymous every day. Space Cat, you are right. it was not a sexy phone call. No, not at all. Damien says, I've had an eye across a few places in crypto, bit of tired. Excited to be involved in interesting projects like Xeno, NetZ, soaking up advice, and DYOR. Absolutely. Your Plug 12 says, I want to get into the crypto, man. Man, I don't know where to start. Well, you're at the right place here, man. Your Plug. First of all, get yourself a profile picture, even if it's fake. Or whatever, and join the discussion. All you gotta do is ask. I gotta tell you, the not only Pedro and I give good advice and teach you how to do things, but the people in our group here are very well established in the crypto world, and can direct you to good things also, and good projects. And Pedro and I are on every day, not every day, but about we'll say 15 to 16 times a month. And we have a good show in which we talk about new things and teach you how to do your own research. We explain topics. We tell you where to go look for information. The websites that Pedro uses to give technical analysis, he gives you the websites for it, brings them up on the screen here, and all that type of stuff. And we try to get you going. And there's a lot of people like you out there now. When the markets start going up and you start hearing good things, a lot of people come out of the woodwork. Something like 500 million. Pedro's back in the house. Pedro, your mic is live, just so you know.
Right here. Are you there?
I am. You're live on the air, Pedro.
Oh, I am. Well, hello there, everybody. I apologize.
Pedro had a little business to take care of there. Looks like he was on a Zoom meeting for a little bit, I bet.
Yes, exactly. People wanted to run some quick numbers, and I had to go through over some stuff.
That's all right. We
So
all got
anyways,
stuff going in the real world, and when we blow our show time and go on a different time, the real world's got to catch up. But Pedro, thanks for joining us back. I was just going over things going on and talking to the community for a little bit here. What I didn't get to was that I don't know if you guys heard me talking last week. When I'm in Ottawa, in Chicago, I have a decent desk and studio to work at. In Ottawa, I have a small little place and it's awful. So I bought one of those stand-up desks. Whoever does not have a stand-up desk needs to go get one. You can get them
really,
on
is that bad?
the Best Buy marketplace now, and they just come from China, super cheap. I think this one was $250. Now you go to Staples and they're like $900, and you're like, screw that. And I got this brand Huano, Huanuo, from
We're on it.
the Best Buy marketplace, and it's awesome. I don't know how long it's gonna last. I mean, I wouldn't move it up and down every day, but it's changed my whole life. My shoulder was sore, my this and all this kind of stuff, and now I can stand up and I can even walk around in the studio now because I have a proper place to work.
You know what, dude? I'm getting that today. I'm serious. Like,
Yeah.
I'm about to go buy that right now.
There's different widths. There's the skinny one. There's the 48-inch one, the 53-inch one, the 65-inch long one, and it's
65-inch?
It's 2 feet wide, deep. It's fantastic. And I bought the monitor holder to hold my monitors on it. I used to have a
That's what she
totally
said.
rigged system to do it before, and now it's great. Pit Monk says, "You mean no brand, lots of love." Yes, the tables are great. Yeah, it's. I'm sure there's only one factory in China. It's probably the size of New York City making these things, and for every different brand, and they just stick a different brand on it. This one's $800. This one's $200. This one's $500. There are obviously bells and whistles. Like some of them more expensive ones that has a bracket to put your desktop box on it, so your box goes up and down with it. Mine, I have long cords anyway, so I didn't need that option. It's fan. Oh, Tom needs a coupon code for us. Yeah, I would do that,
Actually,
but
yes.
It's Best Buy. It's Best Buy.
I got it, yeah.
I you know what? I will do. I've got a couple of coupon codes, but they're all related to my broadcast software and stuff like that. And so I share those with people, and I think to date, I think I've gotten $2.43 in 3 years, something like that. But unfortunately, with Best Buy, no, maybe with Amazon. But they always do it for specific products, and I don't want to pitch a specific product. Just say, you just got to get one of these. Now I'm standing up. I'm like, I can do a little. All right, I'm not getting a little crazy here. We're off topic. Pedro, I can entertain these people all day until they slit their wrists or pour gasoline on themselves, like on the movie Airplane. But
Dude, that was such a crazy. I don't even. Did you?
I remember the whole movie. I
fucking
love the
jive,
whole
bro.
movie of Airplane.
The jive, bro. The part that gets me the most. He goes, "Oh, I speak jive. Listen, brother, man." Yes. And then I thought it was a joke until I actually realized that jive was a real language.
And the guys that did it, the actors, they hired they're like cousins or something like that, and they just spoke that way between them for fun also, and they brought them up on stage and they started speaking to each other. They like, yeah, those guys. And I saw an interview. There's an interview of them on YouTube if you find it. The I Speak Jive guys. It's hilarious. My mama didn't raise no fool. I dug her rat. Brother don't want no help. Brother don't get no help. Shit.
Bro,
Sit right back down now. She get you some medicine. What you talking about, mama?
So good.
My mama didn't raise no fool. I dug her rat.
So good, dude. That movie. I remember as a kid watching it and going like, you like certain movies like as adult you don't even get. I mean, as a kid you don't get that adults get, right? Like that was a movie that was just everybody. And I remember as a kid just laughing. And what got me more was the jive. I was like, oh, just listening to him, and I just remember just cracking up. So yeah, it was a great. That was a really funny show.
There's so many scenes from it. Would you like smoking or non-smoking? Smoking. She hands him the tickets. Actually, smoking.
Yeah. I think it's been probably about 7 years, 10 years since I've seen it. Again, I
And
probably
just
need
just
to
the
go.
simple things like when they're inside the cockpit and you hear the engine,
he's
but
right.
you hear an old prop plane engine. Oh
yeah.
and it's a Boeing jet, you know.
Dude, I never even realized that. You're right.
There's so many
it's
things
good.
you don't realize. I mean,
Yeah.
we're everyone assume crash positions, and then they all go, ah.
I start running around. That was a good. Oh man, you're cracking me up. So, all right, let's talk about crypto. Crypto here. So, I've got a few little things. I keep hearing everybody's talking about these AI, coins and stuff like that, and but I'm not really seeing a lot of fat. It's not much fetch AI. This right here, everybody's talking about it. So part of me almost feels like all these people talking are the ones who got in right down in here, and they need liquidity, and so it's almost like it's a sell-off because, you heard what's his name? I forget his name. Buterin talking about
Striker.
yeah, exactly, and so it's a part of me feels like a lot of these here are sitting at a point where, they're kind of selling off. So I would wait until we get down into these lower levels with these AI. I know we talked about these last week. You're having fun over there. You're having a lot of fun. But overall, I think we got some good areas here. Like I said, I've talked about the lower spots here, Singularity DAO. I know we were having a hard time finding them, but I found them here. And I was going to go over that here real quick. And also, if you guys have any concerns or want me to go check out any other projects, that would be great. I have no problem with that.
Yeah, Pedro, go run through the charts for a minute. And do you have the community, the comment machine open?
I do not. Give me 1 sec. Let me pull that up.
All right, I gotta give Mrs. Striking a call back here to find out something about work, because we're running late, so I'm doing that too. So Pedro will take you through the charts here, and I'll be right back in a minute.
Yeah, absolutely. I see you guys here right now. I have you guys open. Let's go ahead and place this over here. Alrighty. So if you guys have any concerns, or not concerns, if you guys have any questions for me, or want me to go check out any type of coin, let me know. I can go through. Also need to make sure. Yep, he has for education and entertainment purposes only. All right, excellent. So let me go ahead and point this out here for you guys. And this is going to go to the daily demand. Daily demand, there we go. Just wanted to check this out here real quick for us. Kind of put these numbers in here and see what's going to go on. So about right in this level, we should see some resistance. And then the next one will be down at these lower levels here, where actually I'll make it right here. Play off of that level right there. And that's the weekly level as well. There we are. And then we have we'll play that here. Okay, so yeah, this area here is another area, guys, we could check out at Pedro. Sol chart soon recovered but dropped 3% in the afternoon UK. What happened to Solana today? Let's go check out Solana. Sol. Here we are. Yeah, so Solana, like I said, guys, I've been talking about this quite a bit. We want to see more volume coming in, and we're not seeing a lot of volume on these huge. We did find that support area that we've had here for a while. I said I would expect us to see a sell-off down into these lower levels simply because of what is happening with the overall market. But we did hold here. But like I said last week, we needed to see it push up and create higher highs into these higher areas here to see us come back and see retest. The fact that we didn't push much higher from here, from the level from Friday, I expect us to see now it kind of turn around and come back down to the low, at least of that $79 area. And after this, see it come back down. The actual Sol blockchain went silent for 5 hours today. They had a big issue of some kind. Oh, wow. Okay. Very good to know that. What happened? That's good to know. I did not catch that news. So I'm actually kind of shocked that I didn't catch that news. No, I have like 5 different crypto news sources coming in, so maybe I just overlooked it with everything else happening. I have a project and we have a lot of stuff going on right now, and so I took a bunch of meetings today, and that's why I actually had to leave. I actually scheduled from 12 to 2, which we normally go on, or 12 to 3 based off kind of what we're going, but things kind of got crazy this afternoon with Tom. But I love what Tom is doing, because Tom he's a mad scientist with how he set everything up. So that's actually why I decided to go from my show to actually linking up with him, and really just it's because what he does there is phenomenal, and he's really good on when it comes to just connecting with people. So I think it was a match made in heaven. Anyways, I'm a weirdo. Okay, so as you guys can see here, Solana, this lower level here, though, I do expect it, because we put in a lower high here from these high here. I'm expecting us to see a drop in Solana, at least down to the 51 cent mark area here. And then after that, I'm expecting again, the 51 mark area has that 200 period moving average. If we see volume really start to pick up and see some flash crash, I do expect us to come down to that $20 mark, because you know how quickly crypto can really just sell off and then bounce back within 2 or 3 weeks. That we're talking crypto here, right? Where you wake up one day, you buy a project where you put $20 in, and then you wake up and it's 1,000x, and you're like, I just made $20,000 or $200,000. So I pray many of you guys this year have that experience with this bull market, with a lot of the crazy small coins out there. We're actually going to have somebody come on Wednesday. I think it's Wednesday or Thursday, which is called Rising Phoenix, I believe it's called. The one, and they did a 70x from its low to its high. I was like, man, that was ridiculous. Have a nice day on that. Wake up 2 days later, and you're like, nice. Only crypto, right? Only crypto. But as you guys can see here, I see here we potentially could see a sell-off. I always bring up the 100-day period moving average. If we see volume coming on the 100-day period moving average, right, which then is also where a demand zone is sitting, expect us to see it should put in a higher high here. If it doesn't, expect to see it come down to that $50 mark area where that 200 period is sitting, or the 5021, and right there we also have a weekly zone sitting right there as well, where the 50 is at. So this is weekly zone sitting right here. That's it for that. I'm trying to think what else would be you guys would want to see. You guys got anything else for me? Operation Phoenix, forgive me for that, Charles. Yes, you are right. Is Solana chain major VC owned? I think it's both. I mean, they have a lot of venture capital in it, but then at the same time, I also know that they have a huge community. We're talking like a couple 100,000. So, if it sells off, everybody jumps in. I mean, look at Chuck. Chuck's waiting for it to sell off so he can go in and buy in on a low level, right? So it's one of those things that it's like, how about Zeta Chain? Launched last week. We'll check out Zeta here in a second. Operation Phoenix, 80x at one point. And it's crazy in the pullback consolidation right now. Yeah, absolutely. That's ridiculous. Hopefully you got in on that, Chuck. That'd be dope. It is a good match. Things are starting to grow. Yeah, I mean, look at just the subscribers. We just hit 15,000. Me and Tom were talking about this week. It's like, okay, here we go, right? If we can keep growing like this and get it popping. And then with you guys, we appreciate every one of you guys always going out and really just putting us out there. You guys appreciate it immensely by you guys going out, putting us on LinkedIn, as well as YouTube and many of the other social platforms you guys use. That you really appreciate you guys. Hopefully we bring a good product where you guys aren't ashamed of the antics we play around with, where we talk about real news, real situations going on, and stuff that's going on with the Fed. I try to really stay on top of a lot of the bond information, which is starting to heat up again. I'm about to make another call on bonds. I'm waiting for some strategic things happening right now within the over the weekend we saw Powell talk, right? And we saw that the sell-off from that. So it was a really interesting situation that had happened over the weekend when Powell was talking, right? And all of a sudden everything opens up and sells off, and obviously they brought it back up, but it was kind of telling of the situation that we might be coming into in the future here, real quick here in America. But hopefully, I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong, because that means a lot of people are going to be hurt. A lot of people are going to be hurt. So
I've made it back, Mr. Pedro, Senor Pedro.
Oh, ¿qué pasa, señor?
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Bueno. So let me jump in here the last little bit. So Bitcoin, one thing I want to pop up here real quick, and this is where I was talking with Tom earlier before we went on. So when it comes to ETH is showing some strength as we're popping up. So we're consolidating, where it looks a little bit different than, because we're putting in lower highs, and we're still holding on to this consolidation period. But same situation where we don't have volume, but at the same time we're having higher lows. And so that to me shows like a potential breakout up to these upper levels of 27, 28 area. But if we don't, and again we see a sell-off, it'd come back test.
Chuck, we're totally getting vote for Pedro shirts.
All that right in this
totally.
Here. Come on.
Pedro, Chuck just said vote for Pedro, so we'll add that to the t-shirt shop when we get that going. Vote for Pedro.
We can't. No, we cannot do that, because we'd have to maybe vote for PG, right? Because it's Pedro Garcia Crypto Chart Analysis. We would get dinged by that whole entire franchise.
Oh, you're right.
A friend of mine. Yeah, you cannot. I had a friend of mine who made some good money.
But your name is actually Pedro. It's like starting a company called Smith Company, when there's tons of Smith's companies, but hey, it's my name. So
yes, no, that's not how that's all copywritten and all that. They were smart. They were definitely smart.
Your Pitmonk asks, what do you guys think about Monero in the pending delisting by BNB? All I can say is that Binance is under pressure all over the world, and their new CEO is making nice with everybody, and wants to put everything under the thing. I bet you they even rebrand, like New Binance or Low Nance or Sideways Nance or something. They want to settle all like the Godfather. They want to settle all the family's debts, right? And be done with it. So they're going to make a lot of decisions that might not make sense to you, but make sense to them internally, because they got to get all the regulators off their case. And I think the only way they're going to do it is settle everything, do whatever anyone says, any regulator says, and then they'll rebrand or announce a sale of the company to a related entity. But all the old crappy assets stay with the old company, and all the liquidity pools and IP go to the new company. And then they're like, okay, we're done with the old regulator stuff. We've got a new name, and then you'll start seeing them get back into those markets. But they are a market leader, so other people might be like, well, if Binance is doing it, we better be careful on that. That's my opinion on that. I don't know anything about that, but I've watched the privacy coin issues with the EU, the UAE, and other places that aren't so keen about privacy deal with things, and I know they've been putting the heat on people. So it would not be surprising for me to hear that the EU, found an email from Binance that said, hey, let's just murder people. And they said, well, we couldn't find the people you murdered, but if you want to keep this thing secret, you will get rid of Monero. But that being said, the future is privacy coins. I don't care who out there says that's not the case and that they're just not going to work and not going to take off. In the long term, things like the Secret Foundation on Cardano, Charles's new company, Input Output Group, and their Midnight protocol, and all those things that keep the blockchain and the MEV pool, the mempool private, and all this type of stuff. Doesn't mean it's permanently secret. Like, the government can never find out what's going on. It's just like a bank. If the government wants to find out what you're doing, they subpoena the bank and go through the courts and do it all the right way. It's just that all your transactions aren't available for every Tom, Dick, and Harry or Tom and Pedro to go through. And that's the future of it. It's going to happen, and you'll start seeing level 2 chains aggregate all that data for people. It just can't go on being in the public. It's not good for institutions. Frankly, it's not good, with the improvement of software. It's not good for, it won't be long before they start linking wallets to, social media accounts. And you'll just be looking at Facebook and it's like, ding! Jane Smith just bought $200 in Bitcoin. And you're like, well, Bitcoin. Talk to Jane. She's like, what? Yeah, I just did that on my wallet, but I didn't tell anyone. And boom! It's a tweet. Like the whale watcher groups that tweet everything that any whale does in certain groups. Yeah. Be like that. That's my idea about that. So good and buy Monero. I'm not going to tell you what to buy, but I will tell you that privacy and secrecy coins are things that you should be practiced using, for sure. I think Chuck may mine some Monero. I think so. Maybe Chuck may be able to help you out with that. But like anything else in this great world of crypto, whatever you can learn to do it. So if you want to invest in something, spend $10, learn the ways to get money in and out of the Monero chain. That type of stuff, and learn those things. And remember, go back. Crypto changes every 6 months. So anything you learned 6 months ago or used a certain bridge or something like that, go back and try it again. So in case the markets get a little antsy one day and you need to move stuff around fast, it'll work for you. Always practice that stuff. Learn how to do it. I probably haven't done a Monero transaction in 3 years. Because I was trying to teach my son how to mine stuff, and we spun up a Monero miner for about 4 hours, and then we were like, oh, neither of us have the attention to do this.
You know what? Yeah, that's a good point, because I haven't really made much transactions. I've actually been on central exchanges, simply just going in and buying, because I know that the government sooner or later are going to want to come knocking. And I just don't want to deal with the headache of it. But the reality is that, Binance, there's so many coins right now kind of shooting off of Binance and Solana that I do want to take part in, especially because we all know, once that bull market hits, right, you're silly not to just even take part in, even if a coin explodes, a lot of times, right, it'll explode and do like a, 30x, 40x, but you still got 5x left. Right, or 4x left by catching a pullback, and so those times are coming back. I mean, it's going to be one of those things that's going to just be cool to watch again all over, and all the OGs who are there say it happens every 4 years in that bull market. You just see these guys come in and just get crazy. So, yeah, it's just. It's just all right. Yeah, let's do it. So,
all right. Space Cat says, why didn't it come up? Space Cat says, looking forward to the launch of Respan with their no KYC debit and credit cards. They had hiccup at their launch yesterday, but will relaunch in a few days. Send me some information about that, Space, either by DM or wherever. I'd like to look into that.
Bring them on.
Generally, let me give you the background for these no KYC debit cards and credit cards. Generally, what they are is the project goes to a bank in Asia somewhere, like Cambodia or Thailand or Vietnam, and it gets a bank that has a limit that says something like, well, under $10,000, we don't give a heck who you are. You don't need to KYC. And you can open an account or however they do it. But almost all of them get shut down for using US dollars. Almost all of them eventually get shut down because the US government doesn't like that stuff. And there have been a number of crypto projects that got started with it, and they were ready to launch and all that kind of stuff. And then they were like, oh, wait, they're not giving us access to the US dollar market. You could do Thai bahts, you can do Cambodian whatevers, Russian rubles and Chinese yuan and renminbis, but not US dollars. So, and then those that do, they have a time frame in which they don't tell you up front that they have to report to the IRS if they have any American citizens on it. Otherwise, they're not allowed to do business with any American banks. And in most banks, even they're foreign-owned, in Thailand, local bank down the street, most of them ultimately have a U.S. dollar currency account, and they have to do that with what's the intermediary bank called, and wire transfer and foreign currency land, whatever. They have to have a relationship.
Swift?
Yeah, they have to have a relationship with Swift, and with Swift, you need to have a relationship with the U.S. bank to get dollars, and they eventually say, all right, we either have to send all our information to the U.S. So eventually your information's going to end up in the hands of the IRS or a FinCEN or somebody like that. So I would be very careful with that, unless, I mean, if you're taking if ultimately you're using the debit card to move money around, because you can kind of do that with debit cards now. If you're going in and out of no KYC account into your own KYC account, and if you made income, you declare it, well, that's fine. Just be careful with that. Correspondent bank, Daryl, yes, thank you. Correspondent bank, that's what I was looking for. The cards are digital except for the USA and Canada, where you can order a hard card. I've got one of those. Digital cards. It's not a no KYC card, but it's a digital card, and you can use any name you want on it. Doesn't matter. You literally can put in. I can put in Pedro Garcia. I obviously can't put in your address and stuff like that. But I've put up made up names. You can put whatever name you want in, and it's fantastic. It only works in the U.S. and it's my account is fully KYC'd, so they don't care. But if you want to buy it at a store, because it's one of those digital cards that you can say use a temporary number with. So it's a one-time number, so you just use it at Home Depot online. And sure enough, Home Depot got hacked once, and I got the notice sent to me saying, "Hey, your account information has been compromised," but it was a one-time use thing.
Oh, that's interesting. That's so interesting. The hacks that actually happen that never really get put out there. Like Home Depot is a juggernaut of a business.
Hold on, Pedro's got a suit on in the comments, but up here he's got the hoodie on. So we got both Pedros here.
yes. I'm a very dexterous person, so I can party in the streets and be business in the morning. Anyway,
it's like having a mullet. Business in front, party in back.
There we go. But as I want to jump back in here just to the charts here real quick. I know over the weekend we know that good old Elon Musk retweeted one of his old posts on Doge, and it was really interesting to actually see that Doge really didn't move from it, which I thought was really interesting. Because yeah, absolutely, it didn't do much of a it just did like a little bit of a, and not even a little bit. I mean, it just literally just went blah. So I thought that was really interesting with the tweet of Elon Musk, and nothing came of it, which kind of worries me, because if he goes in and he really wants to pump this, it's gonna have to be real news with real ability saying that it's going to use it. Everybody's been speculating for years now that he's going to use Doge in when he colonizes Mars and all this other stuff, but you can see here right now that it's not much. And talking about him, we know that over the weekend or last week, they actually put the first neural mesh into somebody's brain.
Man, I don't want to see where this is going to go. It's going to be like, oh, we've used it to span the crack in the spinal so paralyzed people can now walk. Okay, that's going to be great. But it's also going to be like, and now a human can target 79 other people in a billionth of a second with his AI laser beam gun, and Terminator exists.
Potentially, yeah. I mean, absolutely. But in the same sense, I know from a tech standpoint, he himself has been really, I don't think he's maliciously trying to do it, and I think he would put in things that just look at the self-driving cars. I know people don't want to hear this, okay, but the self-driving cars are better when it comes to actually not causing crashes. There are more deaths and fatalities from people driving their own cars than actual driverless cars. Like when you look at the statistics, and when you turn them on and it actually drives better, and there's less fatalities, less injuries, less car wrecks. I mean, just everything in general. So he's doing something right. Now, granted, his stock is like next to nil right now, which I'm waiting for Tesla to actually drop down to some certain points here. But
I'm trying to find the Elon Doge tweet. And I gotta tell you, Elon's tweeted about 70 times in the past few hours. He must be on one of his planes, and the Starlink hookup has a minimum bandwidth, so all he can do is tweet. He's
busy. He's not busy, so he's just tweeting. Yeah, I'm getting a lot. But in the same aspect, like I look at Tesla, right? Like the fact that they just came out with the new stuff going on with the neural mesh, and I honestly think that that's going to be a way of the future. I know people don't again want to hear that, but the fact is that if I have to go against somebody who is directly connected to the internet in a job interview, right? Yeah. And I have to sit there and I have to pick somebody. I'm the manager, and I have one guy who's a smart guy, but he doesn't have a neural mesh, so his productivity is going to be maybe 40-50% slower than the guy who's actually connected with a neural mesh, where his I'm just being honest, right?
We're all gonna put that shit in our heads eventually.
Yeah, I'm just in all honesty, and that's
especially if it's trading and there's money involved. Oh, you're darn right.
Oh, dude, bro, that's exactly what I thought. I go, how many traders are you going to see? They're going to spend when the new, like right now, I forget. I want to say it's like 20,000. Something, it's like something pretty expensive right now to get it done, and even like FDA has approved it, but it's like one of those things that are actually happening. That is, it's like not everybody's going to adopt it, but these trader guys, they sold their soul to money, and Mammon, I don't know if anybody knows who Mammon is, but they, it's back to this here. Those trader guys would very much have no qualms with saying, okay, boom, let me get in right here, and it's just all thought process. And now they have the access to where it's like you've seen Matrix, where it's like, oh, I now know kung fu, right? Like sooner or later it's going to get to the point where it imprints knowledge on the actual cells of the brain. And that's what he's talked about, literally being able to do that. And we already know we can put information on the human cell. So that's one of those things that sooner or later we're going to progress to that. I would say it's probably within the next 10 years. So if I'm sitting there as a manager and I got to go, who am I going to go against? Who am I going to hire? I would get fired.
Elon just happened to pop on the stream here. Thanks, Elon, for joining us and tweeting. There are some truly pathetic members of the GOP in Congress. Okay, he didn't pop on the screen. I can grab tweets out from the Twitterverse, but I was looking for his Doge one. Yeah, but Pitmonk says the Matrix is here. Skynet is next. Let me give you a more philosophical look at it, or maybe a bigger picture look at it. Like in crypto, we talk big picture, back away, and zoom out.
Well, before we do that, I want to give some numbers, some just real quick charts. So we're in the area that I've talked about with Tesla, right? Sure. So we came. Sorry. Much love, brother. Actually, I totally interrupted you. Is that okay if I just jump?
Yeah, go ahead. No, we got to stay on a roll, and before I go off on a tangent for hours.
Yeah, it's okay. All right, so you guys were coming down into these areas. Up here, when I brought this line, I said, look, I expect it to come down. You can see right here, I'm digging off this area here, sitting at 159, 152 area for Tesla. That 185, there is a pretty decent what's the word I'm going to use? A pretty decent buyer in this area. You can see, right? Like a bunch of sell-offs, but people are definitely absorbing that. So whenever seeing selling and major selling, but we don't see it move dramatically, there's a buyer. There's a buyer coming in that's buying in this area. I personally don't have trillions of dollars, or not trillions, but hundreds of millions of dollars. So for me personally, I'm looking to be purchasing Tesla at the 159 area. I'm mad at myself that I didn't take Facebook, right? Like Meta, dude, because here's the thing. I saw this area here. I think I even on the show talked about this, right? Like, No, not here. I think on my old show, I think I talked about how we had this huge sell-off.
Yeah.
I want to get in once we get above the 8-period moving average and start trending. So at these levels, it was clear to me, like it would have been like, all right, yeah, get in at this level, and see what happens, and literally you would have a $40 risk, and at least capturing it all the way up to the peak here, right? Which would have been my idea to do. That would have been a 385, bro. We're talking that's a 2x with stocks, which is huge over a year. So that right there is huge, huge. I'm frustrated with myself that I didn't do it. Anyways, all that to say,
did they just gap up there?
Yes, it was the biggest, largest gap, bro, of meta history, bro. Look at this gap. It is right here to here. It was on Friday, I believe, when they did earnings. So it was just like, bam. They did earnings on Thursday and gap.
That's like a Friday. Victoria's Secret model gap.
Bro, I can't believe you just...
Damn.
Listen, I respect.
Gotta keep it entertaining here.
Dude, I respect. Listen, I met one Victoria's Secret model. I'm not gonna say a name. She was so sweet and really intelligent. I was in New York, and I sat there and we were talking, and nobody would have known like she's in a hoodie. I actually made a comment. I was like, "Yo, I love your hoodie," and she's like, "Thank you." And also she looked, and I go, "Wait, aren't you?" She's like, "Yes." And I was like, I'm not trying to. I just thought you were cute, and I just want to say what's up to you in your hoodie. And she
please tell
laughing.
me it was on an airplane like that Seinfeld episode where Jerry sits next to the supermodel and everything great happens and Elaine's in the back and everything awful happens.
No, it was actually in Starbucks. Nobody, dude, she was so down to earth, bro. Like you wouldn't even notice unless you just thought, man, that girl's hot, right? But that would have been it. She was real tall though, like real tall. She really tall.
I was walking through a casino in Vegas once with one of the guys that used to work for me, and a couple of people go walking by the other direction like crazy, and there's a bunch of girls walk by in like hoodies and sunglasses and stuff, just typical like LA girl type stuff, and and my buddy turns and goes, "Oh my god, that's," and he said two names that I can't possibly remember, and I'm like that, and remember these were girls in hoods and sunglasses and stuff.
Yeah.
And then he says one of their names, and she turns around and waves and keeps going. And they were two porn stars.
That's funny.
And he recognized them in like hoodies and sunglasses, and not in their show dress or lack of dress. He just recognized them walking through a casino in Vegas, and I was like, "Wow!" I'll just say Jim. It's like, Jim, how could you recognize him? He said, "Oh, I've seen." All of a sudden, he realized his natural reaction to point out the two porn stars busted him for being well schooled. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Everyone watches those types of adult things now and then. But apparently, he watched them so much that he could identify every person that's ever been in a porn ever, I think.
You know what?
Side story number 20 for Tom here.
Dude, have you ever seen... What's up, Damien? Have you ever seen Girl Next Door? That's a old like coming of age movie. I forget the guy's name. Like anyways, long story short, dude, he meets I know he's just like, dude, this is focus on like talk about ADD today. I'm supposed to be out of here,
me
man.
Too.
Okay, long story short, let me jump on this real quick. So Tesla's had a good market. It's starting to see a sell-off, which is nice. All right. So what we want to see, like I talked about with Meta, right? Like with Meta, I was sitting there. I wanted to see us really get above that 8-period moving average and see some higher highs and higher lows. You can see sold off, boom, boom, and right in this area is where you would have been looking, like I said, to go long and to capture that. So Tesla, look, whether you like him or not, he's doing some dope stuff that's real, that's world changing, and it's not going away, right? And he's doing it well. So with that said, look, if we keep seeing a sell off here, this area right here at 159 is a great area, right? In comparative, when you think about $414 of the peak, right? If we see again go lower than that, another good area is that 108 area, right?
What's the green line support line there, or whatever? What price level is that?
Yeah, this is 159 and 159 to 152 ish area. Like this is.
I'm now like the weather girl with the new studio here.
There we go. Oh yeah. Nice calves. You can't. If you're listening,
we all have done that. You're like, just go a little lower. Like, ooh, there's her calf. Woo!
Dude, I had such a crush on Vanna White when I was a kid. I was like, she's so.
Never.
Never? Oh, I thought she was.
Be careful. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, and the wife may be listening too.
Ooh, we're gonna leave that one. You never did. You. It's only been you and your wife forever. That was it.
Right. I don't know anything about anything else.
Nothing. All right. Yeah. I'm sorry, Miss Striking. Anyways. So, okay, Mr. Striking, keep coming out and playing. No. Here we go. All right. So the next one I want to bring up. No, not Shiba. Because I quickly went glance this. No. Yeah, there we go. Poly. We've seen a little bit of a push up with Poly here with some decent volume. Like not like amazing. It's still low volume. But the fact is that I did see a decent push up here. Kind of excites me. I do expect it to see a bit of a lower sell-off, right? Because we didn't put much of a demand area here. But that does excite me with the aspect of, look, this potentially could see a major sell-off. And people are positioning themselves to go long here, potentially, right? Like this is, a lot of times they'll put their position in and let it sell off and then buy in at a higher level. But this area here is something that I sat there and I was like, everything is just looking crappy. And yet Poly today, or Matic, was showing some strength there. So there's one of those things that I was definitely looking at today for an area where it's like, that was interesting in the market. Let's check out our normal watch list here for DYOR. Check out CAS. CAS again is showing some weakness here. Again, we're putting in that lower high here, which is then typically going to put in a lower low. We're consolidating between this area here with just a simple triangle. You can see it's pretty clear. A descending triangle, or if you also want to call it a flag, a bull flag. But I do see it's coming back down to this lower level as we're seeing here. We are following these moving averages. You can see that 8 is sitting right there. It is putting in it is putting higher highs here, but the problem is I'm not seeing big volume coming in at those lows. And that's what I want to see, is big volume, something like this, where we see, volume at these levels that just pop up, bam, pop up, boom. So again, I expect that lower level there. Net Z, as you guys can see here, came down into our area over the weekend and then sold off today into our demand area that we have here, which is at that 11 cents to the 10 cent 208 area. I'm expecting to see a decent amount you could buy in right here. And the fact is that we came in, if this thing ends green today, okay, and I see it get above this high, the previous day's high, okay, that to me shows, all right, this area was real buyers and they're pushing this up. So we want to see it close up today above that 13 cents. We see it close above that 13 cents today. Then as a trader, I sit there and go, okay, they're serious. This was an area of support. Let's see it. But if we stay in this area here, I expect us to stay in this area of consolidation that I have marked out here until we get down to these lower levels here, until we sell off.
Pitmonk says you called this 11 cent range a few weeks back, Pedro.
Oh, what?
You called this 11 cent range a few weeks back. He did.
Oh, yeah, right back in here. Yeah, when we were up in this level. Yep. Yeah, like I told you guys, like these are all emotional. Like when you see me looking at this thing, it's technical, but I'm basically technically reading somebody's emotion. And so when you see me calling like these moving averages, it's people's emotion over a period in time. That's how like, even though it's technical and it's very much technical, the human emotions can be read. It's like, we've all had crazy friends, right? Because this is fear and
crazy
greed.
ex-wives.
Well, I'm not going to say anything about that. I know nothing about that. And, the problem is crazy ex-wives. If you talk about the friends, see, they go after the friends, too. So that's
Pedro Damas sees all. Pedro Damas.
Don't call, I rebuke that. Not even. No, don't call me that. I'm just saying I'm just looking at the charts and they do what they do. My job is simply just to try to listen to what they're telling you, because a lot of times they'll tell you. So yeah, that area here of 11 cents, 10 cents, but expected, like today we need to see a good, because we hit this area. This area does not hold. What we're I would expect this then to do what we're seeing here, just kind of consolidate down until we come back into the next level. The first time you hit
Pit Monk says there's news coming out. So is there going to be a build up to the news, or is this just the community buying and selling itself? We need some outside buyers to come in there, Pit. So whatever news is coming out, you guys need to get that out and start trickling it out, so it starts exciting the great interwebs.
I would agree. Let's check out Ravencoin here real quick. Ravencoin, like I've talked about, this area here coming down to that 60, we keep tapping that area. There's a major buyer right here. You can see here we tap the area of the 1 cent mark and the 0.66, or excuse me, 0.06 area here. So seeing here, it's holding strong off that 100-day period moving average. Again, that's another good strength. Even on the sell-offs, we're seeing buyers on the smaller time frames. You can see right here, like even though it's a major sell-off right here, every time it's a sell-off, we see buyers step in on the smaller time frame. So that's a good sign saying it's holding. On a daily chart, it's going to have a hard time. You can see we're having a hard time fighting that 400-day period moving average. We keep touching that. So we're going to have to wait until this kind of comes into this area and see how it plays off that 400-day period average. The key is every time we see a sell-off, we do see a buyback in this area here. So it's really important to be paying attention to that. Iron USD.
Oh, hit that time. I was looking for tap it in.
Oh, tap. You guys can see here with the iron coin here, we did finally push through this 100-day period moving average. I expect this to come back down to that $1.31 to that $1.20 area. We got that 200-day period moving average. If you're looking to get into them, definitely let me. This would definitely be like one of the first areas that I'm definitely looking to be buying, and then that next one would be down in that 9 cent. Or excuse me, the 91 cent, 76 cent area. So I would expect, just how we're moving off that 100 period moving average, we're most likely going to have a really good sell-off and a buy area down at that weekly zone where I'm sitting right here. And then if it does, again, you want to see real volume coming in like we see right here at this level. Let's check out Theta. Hello, Theta. We bounced off that 400-day period moving average. We're still starting to follow that 8 period moving average, though. So as you guys see here, was not able to get above that. So expect us to see us probably push through this 400 and come and tap that 200 period, which is sitting at the 84 cent area as well. Let's check out Jasmine. Jasmine here, I still think this area down here of that 003 area is a good area. But if we see a bunch of volume, because we're already starting to see volume step in over the weekend while we weren't here, and we really start to hold here and we start to see consolidation with volume, expect to see this baby explode and push up to these higher levels. So I do expect though to see this sell off because we weren't able to get above that 100-day period average. But when we closed above it, we sold off. But this right here wasn't. I expect something like this. This is the type of volume I want to see. I saw maybe half of that, if at that. So I want to see that type of conviction, because this is what I'm talking. This is what I want to see: a big push, a sell off, and then we see something like that. That's what I want to see, where we see a big push. Boom.
What's the difference in these prices here, Pedro, from where we are today up a little bit? It's hard to see that scale.
Oh, right here. I apologize. Yeah. So the next support area or next resistance level area is the 1 cent to the 0.08 cent mark, and current price right now is 0.05 area. So we're talking that's 21, 2, 3. That's about a 30% increase to the lower level there, and then about a 100% increase to the top level of that resistant area here. So yeah, it's actually 40, excuse me, 60% increase would be 60% increase to up here, and then 100%, not 30. Sorry, it's 20%.
It's up.
For everyone. Yeah.
Price go up.
Typically pretty quick on the calculations, so forgive me for that. When it comes to the B, I know we talked about this on Friday. Did we catch up to these people? Were we able to do some? Because I know that when we were looking at it, we need to follow up with these guys. This is one of the ones that I wanted. I forget exactly what it is, but I was intrigued by what they're.
Yeah, I forget who brought it up, but they brought it up, and then you're like, "Hey, this is the chart's telling us good things here."
Yeah, this big push up right here at this level. See the explosion. We're seeing a sell off into this area here. We should see again another push up here soon. So I wanted to know about this one, and I want to make sure it's a decent one before I really start to play with their chart. So versus it's a quick pump and jump or whatever it was. So we need to jump on that and figure that out. What will be interesting for NetZ price is that 16th February huge DEX news. I see that. Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. We will.
Yeah, it looks like that would just, you don't need to bring the old NetZ chart up, but looking at it, how like there's a slow decay on it, it looks like a bunch of people benefited from that pump that they had based on the news originally coming out that the DEX was going to launch or whatever. And then, as usual, there's a ton of degens in every crowd, and they see that they're up, and they're like, "Oh, I'm up. Say I'm up $1,000," and then all of a sudden their buddy's launching the new spooky Inu up yours token, and they're like, "Well, I'll just grab a BNB out of my profits from this one, and send it over there." So you see that slight decay over time when people are waiting for news to drop. In this business, it's almost always degen saying, "Oh, I've got some profits. I'm gonna try and bet it. I'm taking it to Vegas and rolling the dice on it to try and turn my original bet into Shiba Inu or Pepe money." It never works. I know everyone says Shiba worked and Pepe works. For the rest of the time, you just turn $250 into $100. Or less.
I mean, here's the thing. First of all, Shiba stayed dormant for a year, and the same thing happened with Pepe, right? Like, Pepe was dormant for a year, so before it exploded and made billions. And again, that's a fluke. If you got 2x, 3x, take the majority of that off, and then if it explodes, it explodes. But the majority of the time, you will get ahead with literally small gains at 20%.
I remember 30%. That, Chuck. I remember when it was a Trump token or something like that, and it was just. I remember you posting saying, "I'm up 2x, I'm up 5x, I'm up 10x." All of a sudden you're like, "I'm a fifth," and we're like, it can't go on. It's got to dump. It never did. Yeah. Chuck's like, "Yeah, I made 50 BNB." Yeah.
But Trump. Here's the thing, and again, I don't like Orange Man, but one thing about him, he's got star power.
A meme token's a meme token, right?
And a meme token, there you go. And a meme token is a meme token. Right. Star power, meme, dude. That's like, let us combine to create stupid coin, and it goes stupid up. So, anyways, hey, I do kind of have a hard stop.
All right. I got a couple of things to talk about here, Pedro. You can run off if you need to. We'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow we have a big show tomorrow with Operation Phoenix coming on, so be ready with that chart and let me tell you, this is an only good news show. So if the chart says, "Ooh, this is not going to be good," the answer is, well, the chart is struggling right now, but with some positive volume and buys, the chart can go up.
I can't, bro. I will not. Like, I've had that, and I love.
Hey, that wasn't a lie. Instead of saying, "Ooh, it's not looking good," you say, "Well, it's struggling a bit, but with a lot of buys, it'll do well." You can say that with any chart.
If the community steps in and gets it going.
That's right.
Okay, I'm not like I like I said, one time I did that, and from that moment on, I want views as much as you do, and I think we all want to see the show glow and grow. But I look at the integrity of it, and I go, look, if we keep I may not get that community, but I will get pieces of that community who will sit there and say, this guy called it straight. Just like I did with NetZ, right? Like, you saw it bounce right off that, and boom, hopefully some people made some money off of that. I'd rather be honest and real when it comes to that than haggling for views. But if we capture 3 or 4% of people's, in other community who want to hear real TA instead of fluff, like I'm not gonna tickle your ear, but you know what? I might pull it over here to say, hey, pay attention to this one. So I don't know. I mean, what are your thoughts? Forget.
No, my thoughts are absolutely right. The genuineness works, but there's always, as they say, a tone of voice. You've seen my reaction to things sometimes, like oh, that's terrible. Yeah, and it can be like some challenges exist. See, that's the same thing, but one smells like flowers and one smells like shit. So,
well, but the other, and I'll put it like this, and the back part behind it. And I'll actually bring it up. We'll just bring it up right here. When it comes down to the area itself, right? Like, it's a new coin. Like, and I always bring up new coins as in this was a new coin, right? So it's not a good thing or a bad thing. It's just part of an area. If we do see a sell-off, okay, these are areas of buying, right? And if you want to take part in it, that's good, right? Like down here. Here's one area that you could be looking, we're having a bit of a sell-off to buy back. Look at this area right here, right? If you're interested in this area here, go in and this right here. Like, it's not rocket science. It's following what you think is correct.
Which pair do you have up there for them? Do you have the pancake swap one or their DEX, which would say unknown?
Whatever one you gave me is the one.
You've got the pancake swap one, so that's the one with the most volume.
Okay, alrighty.
But the day chart on that's not. I don't think it's gonna be any good yet. They're only 5 days old.
It's okay. I mean, I've called them literally 20 minutes old. So
that's
I'm not joking. Beep. No. I mean, literally, like I was in Coin Launch Lounge when I first got into crypto. And I was talking about how I was trading some of the stuff. By then, though, you would get like 80%. Like it would move because you get 15x, Right. And so it would retrace back to like, to an area. And I'm like, you should get about, 80%, maybe 100% bounce off of this. And they're like, there's no way. And I remember Brian on the Coin Launch Lounge goes, all right, hot shot. You think you're that good? Take over. I'll give you it. I said, all right, cool. And so sure enough, like I grabbed it and started saying, all right, guys, so this is where you want to sit there and be looking for this and looking for that. And literally just played off of everything. And he sat there and he was like, holy crap. So he hit me up privately. He's like, dude, like you just called like 2. So then when he, so that happened, I had with 2 or 3 projects, literally just launched projects, literally, 0 days old. And then what happened next? Oh, and then I came back on and somebody was talking about it. So somebody asked me to do tea on something in that lounge, which is a great lounge. If you guys are looking for a decent community, Coin Launch Lounge and Ninja.
Our friend Brian runs it, does a good job. It's not. He has lots of AMAs in there, but he's not as active right now because he's developing some software for work, and so But it's a great lounge, good conversation, no spam.
Yeah, and also DeFi Dojo. That's another one that's pretty awesome. They have a great, really community. All right, so let me jump last because I got to jump out of this. But you can see here, like this area here is an area buy. All right, this area right here, this right here, this is another area that I like. Like this right here, that 2 cent mark, you can pick up twice as much here, right? And seeing it bounce off of this level here indicates to me, oh, there's good area here. Let's see it now rally back up. Also, let's go into the smaller time frames, right? We can go to the smaller time frames. What are areas of buyers, right? I'll jump in here real quick and put this up. 5, 15, 30, hour, 2, 4, right? And then you can see here, and this is what's interesting, right? This all still plays in good areas, right here. This is another area you're potentially going to see a turnaround, this previous high, right? Which is around that 3 cent mark. So 3 cent to 2 cent mark area are good areas with this project. Again, it's a good project. They've got a lot of dope stuff going on. So if you like what they're doing, you're now able to buy double. And then when it starts to rally even more, you can add on to your position, right? So it
Dope.
depends on what y'all want to do. So
Hey, quick, Kaching asked if we had been over Zeta, Z-E-T-A.
okay, let me pull that up. Oh, all right, it's gonna be all right. Come on. Zeta.
If you can't get to it, we'll get to it first thing tomorrow.
Nah, we'll do it real quick. What was it?
Zeta, Z-E-T-A, he said.
DETA. Globals, crypto. Zeta USD spot. It just launched. Is that correct?
Kaching, give us some background on that.
All right, where is this at? So this is just the straight shot.
Kaching must have stepped away again, or he's a few minutes behind.
All right, so I'm gonna say here real quick when it comes to Zeta, that 06, that 65 cent area here. This is an inner time frame. So give me 1 second.
Yes, last week that's you got the right one. It just recently launched. Zeta.
Right, so it's gonna be 4.
I went to Purdue and was in the fraternity system, and the Zetas, not a good sorority house. No.
All right, I'm looking at this. I would expect to see some type of support coming in at this level here, this 4-hour time frame here. I can't go to the day chart because we just have an explosion here. There's no support on an actual system here. So the fact that we're tapping off of that 8-period moving average on the 4 and also on the 8 here, this area here is really where I can only say there's going to be some type of support coming in. There's one spot here on the 8, but it's so tiny here that I don't think we'll see a much of a position that pushes up from here. But come on.
Meh.
One more time. Let's try. Oh, it would be smart if I actually was grabbing the correct pushing the correct button. All right, so you guys can see here, this area here on the 8-hour potentially could see a turnaround, and on this 4-hour area here, seeing some buying. That's that $1.13, $1.11, and the 7.76. Key thing is you want to see volume like we saw at the launch here to step in at these levels. Those renewed buys at those levels is what's going to set things off to see it now go to the next. The high is that $2.02 area, which is not bad if you consider it started at 15 cents. So what is that? That's 4, 8. What was that? 4, 6, 12, 13, 14, 15x, I believe, is what it would be. So still, that's a pretty decent X, man. I'm off just a few days. So not bad at all. All right, gents, that's it for me today. I do got to head out of here. But I will see you again tomorrow, Mr. Tom.
See you tomorrow, Pedro. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Well, I'm not going off yet. You know what, Pedro? Before you go, before you're doing those charts, you stopped me from doing one of my long rambling stories, and I forgot what that story was.
That was the neural mesh and.
Oh yes, this is my philosophical moment, big picture and human life thing.
I care about you, but I gotta go. So I will talk to you guys and let him.
See you tomorrow.
All right, later.
One of the things that I wanted to mention on that topic was in the the plugging the brain into the rest of the internet and all that type of stuff is one of the things you have to. And then when you think about this, it blows my mind. And I was in a biology class in university, and the instructor gave me a similar analogy to this, and he had someone with a ball of string. It was a big lecture hall, like 250 people, big. Purdue was a big place, big classes. And he had a student, and I think this is very common. People do this in a lot of lectures. He had a student take the string and run it all the way around, all the way up the stairs, all the way around the back, all the way come around this side, all the way back down, all the way to the front. Took the kid like 2 minutes to walk around the whole room like that. And then he had students go pick up the string and stand near the wall. And he said, "You see this whole string? This is this is the lifespan of the Earth. And he said to the kid with the end of it, he says, come on over here. And he gets the inch of it. He says, this is the lifespan of human beings on the Earth. And you're like, oh, okay, whatever. And then so he said now this string around the whole room is the whole lifespan of human beings. And this little inch at the end is since we've discovered electricity. And he said, all these things, the whole rest of the time, we didn't figure out doodly squat. We figured out some math and some other stuff and, a little bit of civil engineering, build pyramids and that type of stuff. He said, but really, humans they figured out fire, how to, we can cook food. And they figured out a few other, engineering type things, and they got the concept of clean water. He said, but they didn't really figure anything out in really advanced science. He said, well, we figured out how to, do blacksmithing. That was good. Make guns, that type of stuff. All these little things that just change things. But really, the big thing that changed everything was we figured out electricity. And since we figured out electricity, the human science thing has exploded. And he said every generation sees things that the previous generation has never seen. Where in the past, they'd go 400 years and nothing would change. In the old Scottish village in Scotland, 400 years, nothing changes except that guy's the Lord, now this guy's the Lord. All cultures all over the world just didn't change. They just had villages. They were warmongering ones, and then after 400 years, they weren't warmongering anymore, so another group would come take them over. Nothing really changed. And then we harnessed electricity, figured it out, and everything's been going like this and accelerating. And, billions of years about, not even billions, 100 years from now, they say, what have been the biggest inventions ever? And, the tech people are like, whoa, we invented the internet and stuff, my Bitcoin and all this type of stuff. And no, it's fire and electricity so far. That's the really two important things. And then after that, once we figured out the anti-gravity drive, that's the next one. Everything else is just irrelevant. So the science exploding basically at the speed of light because of figuring out electricity has caused the human to evolve, and my theory is that the human being will evolve to include cybernetic things. So figure out how to put stuff in your head. That's obviously not evolving, but then the body will get used to it after generations and start figuring it all out. All that type of stuff. So look at the big picture. Big picture. And then you'll think, oh, this is going to be bad. We're putting chips in people's brains. 300 years from now, when everyone's brain has a chip in it and we're flying around in space and we've colonized planets and all that type of stuff, people will be like, man, those cavemen living back in the 2000s, they didn't know anything about anything. That was like the Neanderthal guys. All they did was sit and live stream. Like, we'll talk about Bitcoin. They don't even have neutron money. So, always look at the big picture. Just like in crypto, zoom out, look at the big picture. Just like in life, look out, zoom at the big picture. When you're sitting at your desk going, you know what, my life isn't the greatest, I'm a little bit depressed, might not be going on, zoom out. Zoom out. It helps me ground myself and that type of stuff. Well, I don't really got much more to talk about today. I've got to prepare for tomorrow's show with the Operation Phoenix guys. It's likely going to be a big show. And I didn't invite them today to come on the show in a pre-show and talk about them a little bit. Thank God I didn't, because my show crashed earlier. Oh, great. But I did get notice already that I have a video card driver update. So how many times does NVIDIA have to do that to us? Oh, new driver. But anyway, let's keep rocking it, Tom, says Chuck. Thanks, Pedro. Thank you, Pedro. I forgot to put those up earlier when Pedro left. I used to do this show by myself for a long time, or with just random guests and stuff like that. And when it was in October of last year, 2 Octobers ago, when I first started having Pedro on, I realized what a help it is to have a co-host and to be able to bounce topics back and forth and to joke about things, or even have a difference of opinions. And it works really well. Occasionally I have Carmen Crypto on also, and she's always on standby in case Pedro has to go on vacation, which he never does. And she's good bouncing things back and forth too, but more on a like me, telling stories and talking smack. But Pedro with the technical analysis brings her home to talk about things I just can't do. Let's see. Chuck says, a little slow there. I mentioned it after the crash in the room. Showed a pic of Pedro having the chart up. Oh, well, that's cool. I haven't looked at the room since that. I'll send you that stuff on Respan information later. Space Cat, thank you very much for doing that. Frontier. Oh yeah, I need to get a screen capture of a screen capture. I still got that Zeta thing going. I need to do. Let's see, close up and center TV. Tom. And I need to take a screenshot, which I did. Hey, Chuck, can you take a screenshot? Why don't you do that instead? Take a screenshot of me talking about Operation Phoenix here. I can go pose again if you want the pose. Can't wait to see these things. You know, I can also set this thing. I can set this thing to pull in the Telegram rooms too. My comment machine. Always dreaded OBS. Damien says I don't use OBS. I use this program called XSplit. Just because it did things OBS couldn't do. But now OBS has a massive community and plugins for everything. It probably does what I need it to do. And I use another program called Vimeo's Live Studio 6 to do other graphics and coding and stuff like that. But I'm switching to Unreal. I am learning the Unreal Engine. And all I need to do is get a computer that can run Unreal Live. And running Unreal Live, for those of you who play video games that are based on the Unreal Engine, you can play those video games on many platforms that aren't super duper, because it's technical, but it figures out what doesn't need to be drawn and only draws what you see. But on the back end, when you're encoding live for live production, or if they were actually playing the game live and encoding the whole world at once, you need a much larger machine. So I need like a 4090 video card and the super duper machine. The machine I have used to be super duper when 2080 supers were the super supers, but not anymore. And so I need a new machine to do it. But we're gonna have the Unreal Engine in here, and we're gonna have a cool 3D studio. And but I'm not doing it because it's fun and I like this shit. But I want to have like the Fox News, or not Fox News, Sports, Fox Sports, or TBS Sports, or those guys, and then have like a little area where they always have a guy stats area like that, and the camera zooms over. I want to have that for Pedro for his charts area, and I can just hit the button, the camera goes whoosh. Let's see. I got the post, got multiple. I can't wait to see these. Yeah, go ahead and post it over in Operation Phoenix. Hold on. Let's. Speaking of, let me find my Pitmonk. Any update on King Charles over there? I predicted that we had the Queen for 70 years or whatever, and I said William will be king soon. Charles is going to die soon of some kind of disease, probably cancer or something like that. And that was right after the Queen died. I'm like, Charles isn't looking so good. And apparently I was right. Where is my other browser? There it is. Where was that? Oh yeah, the Solana outage. That's right. Why does this keep happening to Solana? Anyone want to have... Oh, God, this girl's video. If you go to CoinDesk, their video people are so bad. The people read it like this. And today, Solana's back up following major 5-hour outage. Because the thing says smile or something. This is what happens when you have other people write your script for you. You just end up reading it. I sent them a note. I'm like, hey, I'd love to do this for you. Nope. Anyway, for those of you invested in Solana, how long do you have to put up with this for that to keep going out? Damien says Unreal Live. Oh my God, the possibilities. Be jumping into interactive graphics and stuff in no time. Oh, I know. The wife is not so happy with the amount of time you spend learning Unreal. But I want to have like cool 3D graphics. Like I was watching a show the other day where they took viewer comments and a cell phone just pops up out of the screen, and when the guy steps back and forth, it moves in 3D and it has comments on it and stuff like that from the people, which I can do in 2D, no problem. But I want to be cooler than everybody else and have a good show in order to make people go, yeah, let's watch that show. It's cooler than the other ones. And I'm not the coolest guy, so I might as well make my show cool. Let's see. Let's go revisit that. Let's see. Where is my Telegram app? Very nice, Chuck. Saw your post on there. Looking good. This room's very busy. Ah! There it is, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think you can see this because I have it on the Telegram app, not the thing, but it's me doing this. Anyway, I was hoping one of you guys had some comments about Solana, so we'll ditch Solana. Where was that other story? Oh yeah, the obvious one. China never completely banned crypto. We know that. I was talking to Jamie. I was at the Canadian Blockchain Consortium event. Jamie, she runs the mining company Hut 8, and they had just acquired USA Bitcoin or USA some other mining company. And I was talking about it, she's like, well, after all, 20% of the hash rate still comes out of China, even though it's banned. I was like, well, that's interesting. So, you know, and we saw an article the other day about the Chinese hedge. Chinese are starting to hedge against their currency being devalued because their debt problem is so big that people are putting money in stable coins. And the government says you're not supposed to do that, but they are. Let's see. Oh yeah, Kathy Wood said the other day she had an article. I'm glad Pedro reminded me of this. She had an article saying, for those of you that have a diverse, say you have an investment fund, she said that the ideal exposure to Bitcoin was 19% of your investment fund, in 19.4, I think it was. And she's talking about substituting. Can you guys even see this? Yes. She's talking about substituting holding gold, switching out the gold into BTC, and people moving gold into Bitcoin ETFs, which I really find is amazing. Trump-themed, here you go, Chuck. Trump-themed tokens rocket as prominent crypto fund bets on coins modeled after ex-president. MetaMask deal with Robinhood broadens crypto. I don't know about you guys, but I started in this with a Robinhood account, and I never closed it. And it turns out, originally they were a crap company. It turns out now they're a very good company. And their on-ramp fees are almost zero. And I don't have a big account or anything like that. It's just a small little account, that type of stuff. And they've done a good job. Need to see if I can get them to sponsor us. Genesis joins the just sell 1.6 billion in Bitcoin and Ether trust holdings. I'm not going to get into that. But the inflows are still going in ETFs. Chuck says, I'm good for something now and then. Damien says, you can also simulcast straight into VR. Imagine a metaverse crowd sitting at your Unreal 3D virtual event. Yes, I certainly saw the plugins for doing that. Can absolutely do that, which would be awesome. Let's go launch a crappy contract. Trump exhaling in you moon. I'll have to put some thought into the going into a metaverse. What I used to, before I had Pedro, I had this guy named Wes on the show, and Wes talked a lot about metaverses, so I followed him a lot then. And Wes is over doing Zen stuff now, if you know Tree City Wes. And so I followed metaverses a lot then. I don't anymore. I don't follow metaverses a lot anymore because once Facebook gave up on it and said, we put $10 billion into it and we still can't get the shit right. I knew it wasn't time yet. Computing power just wasn't there. And I know that because I thought I had a good computer. And it turns out, a mere 2 years go by and my computer is a slog. And so now but computing power is going up, well, it should work better. But if anyone's got an idea of which metaverse would be good to do a live show, obviously this is months down the road. I got a long time to figure this out, and I got to save up for the new machine. Come on, Operation Phoenix. Let me know. In fact, we're gonna need to. I got to get someone on here to talk about metaverses because if I haven't been talking about them enough lately, that means that if you looked at the metaverse chart, they boomed 2 years ago, and now kind of bear market-ish, and they're probably in that area getting ready to boom back up with the uptick in computing power, and of course AI. Once they integrate AI into metaverse, I was reading this article about that, how certain types of metaverses could be like instant. I forget the video game where they generate just new planets based on AI. Like if you're exploring and you're past the areas where the developers have developed new planets, develops them in AI and just comes up with new ones. And metaverses are going to be like that, where it just comes up with new things based on common people's interests, and those people walk in, and that's yada yada yada. I'm interested in metaverses in regards to medical education as well. Lectures, conferences, procedural workshops. Depends on the lecture. It depends. It depends on everything with medical. It depends. Some are exciting and some it's like, oh, urology again? Oh. It's a growing field. It's definitely a growing field. I gotta be honest. Once everyone has their phones can handle metaverses properly, once you get the Snapdragon chip that is 10 times better than now, it'll work a lot better. It'll work a lot better. Let's hit the Bitcoin news. Nope, this one's the block. Filecoin liquid leasing protocol Glyph. Oh, I wanted to look into Glyph. Raises 4.5 million, offers points ahead of token guy in my Swiss asset DAO. Wanted to learn about that. Oh, SEC just drops out a new rule on us. Adopts rule to have stricter oversight on dealers looping in crypto and DeFi. This is typical of the US. The 247-page rule, adopted on Tuesday, will apply to people transacting in crypto assets that meet the definition of securities or government securities, with the exception of having assets less than 50 million. So it says if you're a market maker with more than 50 million bucks, you have to act like a. Of course, the SEC voted 3-2. The SEC voted 3-2 to adopt that rulemaking in a meeting on Tuesday, which in its proposed 194-page form included one mention of crypto and a footnote. The 247-page rule adopted will apply to people transacting in crypto assets that meet the definition of securities or government securities, with the exception of assets having less than 50 million. Oh, I think I read that wrong. It says if you are market making in assets over 50 million, you have to follow the new rules. And then if you're market making in things less than 50 million. So any Now, how would you value your DeFi project? Would you value it at a market cap for the SEC, or value it at what the LP is? I bet you there's going to be some lawsuits over that. Anyway, I won't go into that now. We'll save that for a later day. Damien says, I gotta get back to that screen. Great things when the links are improved out, and W3's VR integration. We're already at Ready Player One on a crude level, but this is a golden development phase blockchain goodness. There are a lot of people at Ready Player One stuff. Why do I keep putting that Zeta thing back up? At that level, but they're all tested with each other that have awesome computers. You know, they all do it, and then they don't have any bandwidth issues between, you know, they have a testing environment in their office, and they let other people on, but they send them only a slightly compressed feed back and forth. And, you know, most people still don't have synchronous internet. Most people have asynchronous internet, so you can get a gigabyte download, but you got 20 meg upload. And a proper 3D upload that's not that compressed is more than 20 megabytes. Or megabits, or whatever the number is. Great things when the kinks are ironed. We got you. Anyway, Damien and everybody else, I gotta get going. Got some real life stuff to do. Still enjoying my new studio, though. Usually I only can do this in Chicago. Now I can do it in Ottawa. Just practicing for that Unreal Engine day. Okay, all right, I literally can go on forever. But for all of you that spent the afternoon with Pedro and I, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Because we, as you know, we failed early. Computer failed earlier today. And we went and redid the show, and it worked out just fine. But thanks to everyone who watched. We still had 35 people tune in on YouTube. I didn't pump this one out to LinkedIn, so it'll be a lower viewer total overall. Had a couple people on Twitch and Kick join in, but they didn't comment. But overall, it's a good day. So anyway, thanks for everyone that joined in. Really appreciate it. Damien, wherever, I can't remember wherever you're coming in from. Tom, rest up. Get ready for the big party tomorrow. We are going to have a big party tomorrow. 12 noon tomorrow is the show, Eastern Time. 5 p.m. Universal Time Coordinate, whatever the hell it is. And for those of you in Australia, it's like a day and a half in the future, so I'm not even going to attempt to figure that one out for you. So everyone, join us. 12 noon tomorrow with Operation Phoenix as our guest. Of course, Pedro Garcia. Telling the charts and telling it like it is. My name is Tom, otherwise known as Striking here in the digital media world. We'll see you tomorrow at 12 p.m. with Operation Phoenix, so be there.